And and one of the best things about retiring is you'll never have to say that again.
I
Right,
know.
or you can always try it out on your children. This meeting's being recorded. You know. Um, so, Janet, have you and Brian communicated verbally?
No, I had just sent the letter that the commission had reviewed.
Oh, okay. So, welcome, Brian. Thanks for coming to the being first on the agenda. It was pointed out to us by, I'm not even sure where, residents, somebody, people driving down Main Street there, that there were truckloads of dirt going into your property. And we're concerned because it's surrounded by wetlands, and a high water table and all the things that make it great for farming. Can you unmute yourself and fill us in on what's going on there? Oh, can you unmute? Usually lower left.
Yeah, there
we go. Yep.
Great. Yeah. Yes, and thank you for the opportunity. Gosh, I guess I'll start with I've been in Dover since 1992 or something, and I've been farming over 35 years. Not on a full-time scale, obviously, but I really am passionate about it, and I take care of the land well. I started at the end of Smith Street, and fortunately, I was able to find some land over here on Main Street, and it's terrific land, actually. Like you said, it's got a lot of organic matter in it, and it grows vegetables very well. It's just that it's very mucky in April and May. I literally can't get a machine on the land. So over the years, I've been sort of adding to the road and making my access go well, improve my access. So because the road just gets mucky and ruddy, and so I had the opportunity to bring in some clean fill. I know a guy who's an excavator, and went and looked at it, and it's sandy and with clay, and so I thought, oh, this is perfect for the road. There's not a lot of stone in it, and so trucks started coming. At the same time, I had been thinking over the years, and I talked to John Dowse about how to grow apple trees. I've planted apple trees. They don't really like it down there. They get a lot of lichen, and there's not a lot of airflow, and the roots are in water in April and May, and the trees just don't do well. So with that in mind, I talked to John, and I've done this sort of mound system to grow apple trees, but really the opportunity to put a terrace on the land and grow these trees, I just thought, oh, this is fantastic. And I am very excited about it. And so the dirt came, and it came, a lot of trucks. I don't know the number. But I basically raised an area about 50 feet wide by about 400 feet long. And I raised it about 3 feet. Some areas less, some areas a little more. But when you move soil, air gets mixed with it. So it's going to settle. And it'll be about a third lower given a little bit of time. So when I got your note, I thought, oh gosh, if whatever you guys want me to do, but I really hope you can allow me to keep it there. It is on the farm. It is for farm purposes, and it'll improve my ability to farm other income producing crops. I can go through what I do and other things with farming there, but I'm very fortunate to have that land. I love it, and I hope to be there for another 30 years.
Well, I think not that there would ever be rumors in town, but
of course not.
Yeah, that some people were concerned that you were raising the grade in order to get a 40B in there. There were
definitely not. I promise, but like I said, I came from Smith Street with my ex-wife Sierra. We really loved the Dover. We feel very fortunate to be in this area. So I've just got deep roots with working with Chris Yoder, and back in the day, I worked at Powesset, even just sort of helping out. But before Trustees of Reservation came in, that's not me. I don't need to do that kind of thing.
Mhm. So how close are you to property lines? Do you know? With the soil.
I don't know the exact footage, but it's over 100 feet. And back when I first bought the property, I had meetings with the Conservation Commission, and we sort of informally said, okay, you farm on the field and don't go in the woods there, and we'll just keep, call it a truce. And so we put up a fence line, and I said, okay, I won't go over that fence. And
Mhm.
I've kept to that for 20 years.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah.
No, I seem to recall you were in for you mentioned the lichen, that you were in for trimming of the trees at one point to well, we lost your picture, Brian.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I'm still here though.
oh, okay. We uh that you wanted to thin out the trees that were so that you'd get more air circulation. I don't know if that was back in the time that you were thinking of, but I remember uh
Oh, yeah,
dealing with you on that.
was that 20 years ago? Have you been
I
as
don't,
long around here
well,
as long as I have
I
been?
was gonna swear that it wasn't, but it may
Yeah.
not be. So, but it's, actually, no, I haven't yet hit my 20th anniversary, but it was some time ago. So, Janet, do you have, any questions you want to direct to, Brian?
I don't think so, but Trout Brook is the brook that flows on the farthest side of the property, and that is a perennial. So our jurisdiction is 200 feet from the mean high water mark of that stream.
Mm-hmm,
I think probably what makes sense is a site meeting, just to
mm-hmm,
walk the property. Um, there are agricultural exemptions under both our regulations and also in the wetlands protection. But there are some very strict prohibitions on changing the surface contours of the land and also changing any overall drainage patterns. So even though there are some exemptions, there also are some pretty strict prohibitions on what can be done without a permit from the commission. So
mm-hmm.
I'd suggest maybe we try to set a site meeting right now, and see when Brian would be available. And I think it would be good to have at least one or two other commissioners at the meeting.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Throw out some dates, and I'm pretty flexible. I have a
Yeah,
couple of
let's
doctor's
take a
appointments
look,
coming up.
folks. Did you have a date in mind, Janet?
I did not. I
Mm.
don't know what Brian's availability is during the day or an early evening or a weekend even.
I'm pretty flexible. I can. I'll just make my schedule. I'll make myself available.
Okay. And commissioners, does anyone have a particular time that they would be interested in meeting down there?
I'm away from next Wednesday, the 16th through the 2nd, so I might not be helpful at all.
Okay. How does Monday work for anyone?
Yeah,
Sure.
Might
be okay.
Okay.
I have something in the afternoon, but
Do
Okay.
you want to say
So-
9 or 10?
Probably. I am not back in town till 10, so I probably so anywhere from 10:30 on for folks. Is that
Yeah.
That works?
anyone?
Um,
Okay.
it's fine.
yes, I can,
Okay.
the
Okay.
14th, we're talking about the 14th?
Yes.
Janet,
Okay.
if there's any issue, I do have to confirm a doctor's appointment, but I don't think I have it then. But I contact you if I have an issue. Otherwise, I'll be there. And I'll let you know tomorrow.
Well, we want to meet. Yeah, we want to meet with you. So why don't we
Definitely.
set up? Why don't we? Because that's part of the fun. So
Absolutely. I want to be there.
yeah.
So we'll say 10:30 Monday. And if I don't know this doctor's appointment. So I've been waiting, you wait months.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh,
So,
they tell you, yeah.
yeah. So anyway, let's do it. And
Okay. Do
Yeah.
we want to have a fallback date just in case?
Sure.
So that,
Tuesday
because
or
that way
Wednesday.
we're all here. It'd be much harder when we're not. Um, so how does, oh, let's see, how does that Tuesday look? After, 1 o'clock?
That's fine.
No, not for Amy?
Yeah,
Uh,
I can't, but
I can't
Okay.
either.
okey-doke.
I could do Wednesday, from like 1:30 on.
Okay. That would work for me, actually. And Sarah, you're leaving town that day
Yeah, I'm leaving for Africa that day.
Ooh,
Oh, cool.
for Africa?
Yeah.
What bus do you take for
Oh,
that?
whatever. Don't talk about it.
Yeah, we'll get to that
We'll get
later.
to that later.
Well, so, okay. Anyone else leaving for Africa? Okay, Anna, is there any time in the afternoon? I didn't know if you'd be interested in this.
I'm interested, but my work meetings randomly appear, so it's a little hard to know. Wednesday around 1 looks good, and I think I might not be able to do the 14th, but the
Okay.
fallback day probably is good. I just don't want
So
to promise because they show up.
Got it. And Amy, Wednesday works for you around what time?
I have a call from 12 to 1, so 1:30 would be,
So how about 2
Better.
o'clock? Would 2
That should be
o'clock
good.
work?
2 o'clock is
And
good.
Brian, is that a definite no doctor day?
That's definitely fine. So, but I still, whatever, both of those times, I'm going to
Okay,
shoot
well
for
then
the
let's
first one.
shoot for the no doctor day. And at 2 o'clock.
Oh.
Okay.
So not Monday or,
No, the Wednesday. Well,
Okay.
could you there's a possibility that Monday would be canceled. So we can go for Monday and use Wednesday as a fallback, or we can just go for Wednesday.
I'm just thinking,
Janet, I'll shoot you an email either way in the morning, but I'm sure both times are going to be fine. I'm glad we have 2 times.
Okay, then let's shoot for we'll do Wednesday as the fallback, and let's shoot for Monday as the
Great.
as the
And that's
desired.
perfect. And I have that on my calendar. That's great.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you. So we're looking forward to seeing what you get planned.
Great.
Great. Any other questions for Brian?
I just had a quick question. I have just been looking at some of the GIS maps, and is some of the land under Army Corps of Engineers?
Yes, about 3 acres between me and the Trout Brook is Army Corps of Engineer easement.
And so that's right. Well, is it an easement? Because they own some of the land outright back there. Don't know about that particular property.
he's got an easement.
Oh, okay. So farming is permitted, I assume, on an easement?
Well, it's
I
not,
just haven't
he's
gone
not
back
farming
there.
it, it's too wet.
Oh,
Yeah, I just
you
haven't
don't go
gone
back
back
there.
Right.
Oh, okay, fine. And you can point that out when we're there. Okay, so we're looking at first choice is Monday at 10:30, and fallback is Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Great. And
Okay.
Janet, if you can, if anything changes relative to Monday, then just blast everyone an email, please.
Yeah, I'll confirm it one way or the other.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Thanks,
Okay.
Brian. We'll see you then.
Yep. Have a good night.
Okay, you too.
Right.
Okay, next on our agenda is a notice of intent for 10 Claybrook Road, covering a garage, pool, fence, wall, and grading, number 144935. Janet, why don't you fill us in?
Yes, so this is a proposal for a new pool equipment, a new fence with associated grading and a retaining wall. There is also a driveway expansion and a new shed. Those are outside the 100-foot buffer zone. The resource area on the property is BVW. Apparently, when the house was built, one of the order of conditions requirement was a deed restriction that is shown on the site plan that prohibits any disturbance or work beyond that point towards the wetland. the proposed fence is hard on that, that line, that restriction line, PF, proposed fence.
Mhm.
And then the erosion control is proposed along the edge of the lawn, along the tree line. To handle infiltration on site, they are proposing a Coltech chamber. As you can see by the red lines, pretty much everything on the lot is within the 100-foot buffer. There's quite a lot within the 70-foot, and then some new work within the 50-foot. At the time of when the house was constructed, we just had the 25 and 50. So that's why that all of that work would have been allowed at that point, but we have our new setbacks. And so there are, let's see, 2 waiver requests. One is to allow the new fence within the 50-foot no disturb setback. And I think that the new fence will actually help define on the ground where the conservation restriction is. It's right along the tree line. And then there's also a waiver request within the 70-foot for the Coltech chamber, portions of the new retaining wall, and portions of the fence. And then the applicant has also requested a waiver of all waiver fees. So that's something that the commission can consider. So perhaps Artie can just walk us through all the elements of the proposal, since he has the map up now.
Artie, I don't know if you're muted. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. I have the owner, Amy. She is already on the call. So what's happening with this project, guys, is that before COVID, we looked into the possibility of expanding the footprint of the garage. We even came up with plans to add on the right-hand side. We did explain to the owners that was going to be a difficult approval going through the system. And after COVID, they decided to go with the easier version as far as not to propose any work on the right-hand side toward the wetlands, but we're gonna have to get creative on putting the addition in here. The reason why we are doing this work is because we're trying to gain one more parking spot. The kids have grown up and they need additional parking space. So with the restrictions that we have on the ground is that we got a 40-foot structure setback for the front setback in here. And then the other thing that we have is a 30-foot structure setback on the side. So in order to make things work, we ended up proposing a jog and coming up with an addition roughly 12 by 22 and a half. And at the same time, we've got the septic system nearby, which limits how much bigger we can make this addition. So the owners are working with a builder and an architect to try to figure it out how to best fit the addition in here. But as you can see, the addition will be from this corner of the house to the wetlands, we're going to be 98 feet away. So any work that's going to be done for the addition itself, it's going to have no impact on the wetlands because it's going to be so far away. Because now we're going to have the entrance for the cars in here, then we ended up expanding the footprint for the driveway so that they have a little bit of a wiggle room as far as the possibility of coming out and having more use of this area in here. Currently on the site, there is a retaining wall that we have shown in here, and the whole, there is a the driveway is with pavers. So what we are hoping on doing is move the retaining wall further away, but at the same time, we're gonna be more than 15 feet for the breakout. For safety purposes, we have proposed a 40 mil PVC barrier for protection on the garage from the septic system, because from the septic system will end up being 11 feet to the garage. Also, we have proposed in here a new drainage field because we are adding more of a footprint in here. We added a proposed drainage field, and then it happens that on this left corner, there is a dry well. It was shown on the as-built plan on the plans that were filed with the town. The owner has the receipts that the dry wells were put there. So what we are suggesting on doing is when we do the work in here, we'll relocate this dry well that is in here and put it in here. You see how we're saying proposed dry well relocation. So we're going to be moving this dry well from here. We're going to be moving it on the right-hand side. As far as access to the site, it would not be a good idea to go on the left-hand side because of damaging the septic system. So what we are proposing on doing is we're going to continue. We're proposing to put an erosion control barrier starting from the corner of the driveway going toward the well, and then following the trying to protect the trees over here, but at the same time being at the edge of the wood line, we're continuing all along way up to the back over here. So there is going to be no tree removals as part of this project. We're not proposing to change the grades. This is going to be strictly for site access going through this side. The pool equipment, the owner would like to put it under the existing deck, and we have shown them where they're going to be located. There are restrictions that Janet had put in as far as not to use chlorine, so the intent is to use salt water. The other thing that we are doing is, as far as the house itself, this is the only part that we're putting an addition on the left front corner, which is further away from the wetlands. Now, when we go to the back of the property, this whole area is already open. It's all lawn. There are no trees there. We have shown the edge of the tree line where it is. We suggested that for the pool fence, we're starting from the corner of the existing house, go straight where the conservation restriction line is, put the fence along the conservation restriction line, and then follow like a foot away from the property line, going around the property and kind of, because we don't want to enclose as much the pool as possible. So we'll be closing the fence on the front part in here. The other thing that we are adding is we have gone through several editions of what would best fit. And our goal was to keep the structure for the swimming pool itself and the patio 70 feet away from the wetlands, because that's one of the requirements that you guys have for structures. In order to minimize the regrading between the 70-foot structure setback and the 50-foot structure setback, the owners decided to install a wall so that we try to keep the grades as they currently exist as much as possible. So there is the top of wall is going to be elevation 117.8, and then the grading on the outside will be 114, 115. So you're talking about less than 4 foot of a height of a wall over here. There is only a 3-foot patio. We got stepping stones between the house and the swimming pool. There is currently a retaining wall for the septic system. One of the reasons why we couldn't move the pool further away was because the distance between the existing retaining wall and the structure, the pool itself, it's only 8.5 feet, 8.6 feet. So trying to move it another foot, it's not going to make a difference. We're going to ask for you guys to grant us a waiver. So we believe that this is minimal impact to the site as possible. We did propose the shed for storage, and we kept it outside the 100-foot buffer so it wouldn't have an impact on your jurisdiction. But for clarity, we wanted you guys to see it so that you can see the big picture of what it is that we are trying to achieve here. Other than that, the grading, once we put the wall up, the grading will be minimal. We'll just try to work around the wall. The slope will be 3-to-1. We are staying 25.5 feet from the septic system to the swimming pool. Other than that, we got a proposed walk. There's going to be stepping stones starting from the front in here, going all the way to where the swimming pool is. I did have a conversation and showed the plan to Board of Health. Jason is okay with the plan, and he said to put it through the process, so building permit process as far as for issuing the approvals for the Board of Health. We did get the approval from the town engineer for the stormwater. We believe that we have addressed the concerns that typically the Conservation Commission has, and our task was to try to get the approvals on the first run, so we didn't hold anything back. We moved everything as far away as possible.
Okay.
One thing, one
go
more
ahead.
thing, John. So the other thing that I would like to say is, as you can see, this lot is pretty big, but because of the conservation restriction, the area that they have on use is very limited. We are hoping that the commission will see how tight everything is, and will consider, because of pre-existing conditions of where the house is, to allow for a waiver, to grant the waivers and not to require the fees, if that's possible.
Janet,
Any
your
question?
thoughts?
So I did want to mention that I did review the wetland delineation, and that looked fine. I did closely compare the deed restriction line in what Amy had sent, which was the original when we imposed that, and that looked accurate. But regardless, if that line wasn't accurate on this, it would not affect the viability of whatever we had approved previously. So Artie, you did Mike and Jerry issue you any kind of written approval or any comments?
Give us the plan that is marked up approved.
Okay, and so you've taken into consideration any of his comments?
The plan that you see, there is no plan that you present to the town engineer that doesn't have a markup. So he always marks up things, but there is nothing that has any implication on the Conservation Commission. We can certainly provide you a copy of that plan and you can see it, but you can
What
even.
were the things? What were the things that he marked up, Artie? Was it drainage or what?
It only had to. I don't believe that. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it might be good just for the file, Artie, if you could
Yep.
give a hard copy to Lori.
Yeah, I'll print it and give a copy to Lori, but there was, so one of the things that he had is to put signs on the street as far as traffic, so he wants a sign on the
during
street saying
construction,
traffic
yeah.
coming this way, traffic coming the other way. That was the biggest one that I saw.
Okay. And yeah, if there's something in the, as we're reviewing this for conservation purposes,
Yeah.
if there's a conflict, then we'll have.
We
to
wouldn't
resolve
have,
that.
that was the goal. We wouldn't have come in front of you if we didn't have his approval. So we got his
Okay.
approval first and then we provided you the plan.
Okay. So Janet, given what we have presented here, any additional concerns? It doesn't.
No, I don't have any recommended revisions. I do think, given that all the proposed work in the 50-foot and 70-foot is in previously disturbed areas, and there really are no other practical alternatives. So I recommend both those waivers be approved. But it's not under our grandfather policy, since this is new work. These are new structures. And then I would leave it up to the commission whether to waive, for something like a pool, which isn't a necessity. whether or not you want to waive the waiver fees, that would be up to the commission. And then I did recommend 11 special conditions.
Okay. And so the waiver fees, since there's two waivers, there's what, 50 and 75? Is that what there's 50 and 70? Is that what the waivers
70, yeah.
are requested
The
for?
50 foot would be because of the fence being inside the
Okay.
50%, and then the pool itself is, the pool is outside the 70. But the
That's the
wall for
retaining
the
wall.
pool is it's inside, so we
Mhm.
kept the pool on the outside to give you a reason to let it go. Again,
Mhm,
not just the pool, but even the patio around the pool. So this line in here, I'll make it red. So this would be the line around the pool that is the 3 foot patio around the pool itself, that we are keeping it outside the 70-foot structure setback. So but even regrading on your bylaw requires it's considered a structure. So we did spend the money on putting the wall in order to keep the grades as natural as possible. So we're hoping that you guys would be considerate.
Is there a chance that that 3 feet is, I understand, on the right-hand side, is there a chance you do expand that on the left-hand side for the patio blocks there?
So
Yeah,
what's happening is that from the corner of the pool itself, you know how, so you got the edge of
Yeah.
water, you got the foot of wall. So from there to the face of the wall, it's 8.6 feet. So if you go from the, hold on a sec. So we're gonna be 6 feet away from the edge of the patio to the
Okay.
face of the
I was just-
wall.
I was just curious, what, you know, because that's pretty narrow, but you don't have a fence that people are bumping into. So commissioners, I'll open, this is new construction. They've obviously gone through pains to fit everything in. But they are putting, you know, they're doing work inside the areas. The plus side on the fence is that it demarcates the, as Janet mentioned, the conservation restriction line. I think we haven't really encountered this. You know, normally we're dealing with grandfathering for houses built in the 60s or before, and it's normally for people adding on something, you know, an addition. Here, this is as Janet pointed out, the swimming pool is all completely voluntary. I have no problem with myself with waivers. My question is, at what point do we, I'm not sure why we would waive waiver fees. I'm perfectly willing to be convinced, or to split that and have just one fee. Any comments?
Yeah, I had the same thought. It's like a lot of detail, a lot of work has been done to, not eat too far into the buffer. I think that's pretty good. I am also in the same boat. This does seem like it's not a replacement of a swimming pool that's suddenly become toxic. It's a new swimming pool. So I kind of don't love the waiving of the waiver fees, but I agree the fence is a good location. The fact, you're trying to minimize it is like good showing.
Anyone else?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
I agree with what Anna said.
Okay, so would there are two waiver fees involved? Are we looking at not waiving either, or would
What is
what
this?
would you think?
Remind me, John, what is the second waiver fee?
One is for being done, putting the fence within the 50-foot area, and the other is for the wall that's in the 70-foot area. And as well as is that drainage? The Caltech is construction within there as
It's
well.
underground, but typically you
Yeah.
don't consider that a structure.
Yeah, and so
I would phrase it like the second one would be a waiver for regrading and the wall, because the swimming pool itself with a patio is outside the 70-foot structure
Right.
setback.
Yeah, no, that's why I mentioned the wall. So, but adding the grading in there is a very good point as well. So the fees are, Janet, are those 500?
It's 500 each.
Mm-hmm. So, uh, I'm open, folks. If you know, there's obviously a fair amount of funds being expended here, on this, voluntarily, not under duress, like the way we've had with other proposals that come in front of us for waiver fees. So, anybody care to make a proposal on that?
I would propose to not waive the waiver fees.
Okay. And okay, then why don't we Jen, is this, other than this, which would come up as a vote, do you I assume, would we vote on the project itself first, then vote on waiving the waivers, and then vote on the fees? Is that
I think we will vote on the waivers and then the waiver fees and then the whole project.
Yes.
so?
Right, so
Uh,
so Tim made a motion, right? You made a motion.
Well, we have
Not
to
yet.
handle,
No.
no, we have to handle them separately.
Alright.
Yes.
So we can, let's vote on the, combining, vote on, whether to approve the waivers themselves.
Yes, move to approve the waiver requests for the 50-foot and 70-foot limitations.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Tim?
Aye.
Zega? I don't, Zega, can you vote yet? I'm not sure. Yeah, let's wait till we get the selectmen to, okay. Sarah?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Move to impose the waiver fees for the two waivers we just approved.
Okay. Do I hear a
Second.
second? Thank you. All in favor? Tim?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay.
Okay, move to.
And then Janet
Janet.
raised her
Oh.
hand.
Just a reminder to vote to close the hearing as well.
Oh, sorry, move to close the hearing.
Second.
Thank
All in favor? Tim?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thanks, Janet. And then we're last but not least, motion for
Yes,
approval.
Move to approve the project as presented with the 11 findings and special conditions in the agent's report.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Tim?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Amy?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So
you.
Artie, you know the drill, coordinate with Janet and
Yep.
we'll move forward on there, and good luck.
Much appreciated. Thank you, guys. Have a
Okay.
good night.
You too. Bye-bye. Let's see. Next we have, oh, this is gonna take a long time.
Nick
A
is- Oh, my goodness.
RDA for a shed at 1 Old Colony Road. I don't know if folks saw the plan. Basically it's there's a retaining wall behind the driveway. The shed is going in between the driveway and the retaining wall, so it's not disturbing anything. It's on blocks, so technically it's not permanent. Janet, your take on this?
Yeah, so this is really straightforward. The shed's going in on blocks on a gravel base, so there'll be no fill. And it's on existing lawn area. So I recommend that the commission issue a negative determination of applicability with let's see,
Or
three special conditions. And because of the nature of the existing conditions with the retaining wall and a fence in front of the wetlands, I don't see the need for permanent bounds. But I think the signage, no pesticides, fertilizers, and no de-icing, just that one sign would, I think, adequately protect the wetlands.
Okay. And what were the other two conditions?
All disturbed vegetated areas shall be restored to pre-construction conditions, and no storage of any construction materials or equipment in the 100-foot buffer zone unless it's stored on the driveway.
Okey-doke. Great. I'll enter a motion to entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Move to close the hearing.
Second,
Thank you. All in favor? Tim,
Aye.
Sarah,
aye.
Anna.
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. And
Okay, move to issue a negative determination of applicability, approving the project as presented with the 3 special conditions outlined in the agent's report.
Second,
thank you. Tim,
Aye.
Sarah,
aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Anna.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So I don't know who, if they're on with us tonight, but just communicate with Janet and you'll move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Good luck.
Thanks.
Let's see. Then we have a request for a COC for 55 Main Street.
Yes, so you might recall this was a tear down, a new house. Portions of it, the closest point, they were about 65 feet or so from the wetlands line. But I reviewed the as-built, I did a site inspection, and all work was done in accordance with the order of conditions. So I recommend approval of the COC with the 4 permanent conditions outlined in my report.
Okay. Let's see. So there's no hearing to close for a COC. Is that correct?
I believe
Right.
that's true.
Right.
Okay. So entertain
Okay,
a
so
motion to.
move to issue a certificate of compliance for 55 Main Street, request number 144-0915 with the 4 permanent conditions in the agent's report.
I will second that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sarah,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Anna. It's quiet. That's a quiet Anna. Tim,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay. And was that David Parrish, Janet?
That was a Craig Rafter project.
Oh, okay. Oh, that one on the right. Okay. Yeah, excellent. Okay. Let's see. Then we have that closes our hearings for the evening. Then we have a discussion on 8 Pagan Lane in terms of Ecotech for his proposal for peer review. But I don't think, is Paul here tonight? I don't think so. So I don't who's I don't know whose phone number is there ending in 274.
Is that Craig?
What is it?
Is that Craig?
Oh, is that
Phone
Craig?
number?
I don't
I don't know.
know. Anyway, so Janet, with Paul not being here, did you review anything in writing? Did that proposal come in?
Yes, so at the last meeting, we closed on 8 Pagan Lane, which is the dam improvement project, which he peer reviewed. And the commission agreed that it would make sense to have Paul continue to handle the pre-construction site meeting, on-site monitoring, and then also the COC when that comes in. So he did submit his estimate on that. So I think you just need to approve that. And then we need to contact the owner and have them put that in escrow before any work can begin.
Okay. And what was that amount?
I don't have that in front of me. Lori, do you have that amount?
It is 2,550 to 3,060, and I usually ask applicants for the higher number
Okay.
because then they can be refunded if it's not used, but so far it's always used.
And is that Karen Russell? Is that
Catherine.
Catherine.
Catherine,
Catherine.
sorry.
Yep.
Okay, then I read it, I just didn't remember the numbers, so everything looked very fair. Um, Entertain a motion to proceed with the well, to approve the peer review proposal.
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. All in favor? Tim,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Anna, Sarah,
aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay. Okay, next we have 29 Saddle Ridge. I don't know where we stand on the peer review invoice. I did speak to Badrin Pierre several days ago about Debbie Anderson. Had talked to him and told him that we wanted to see increased vegetation there. And he was concerned about the cost. I outlined the benefits that 1 gallon buckets at the proposed amount would probably be overrun with invasives if he didn't have more shade from plants and the like. We agreed to work together on that because I'm going to look at some of the contacts I have to see if we can get better pricing. And I mentioned that we would work together on that for to try to get everything in by the end of the planting season this year. So he has the first row of he's pretty much done most of the planting that Deb had outlined, but as I told him, it was a little sparse. And so we agreed to move forward on working together to bulk that up. I will I'll talk to Lori about or actually, Lori, have you sent anything out recently relative to the Ecotech invoice?
So Varden is all paid up for invoices so far to date. But
Oh,
I
okay.
think Paul's been waiting for the revised restoration plan, I think, and he hasn't submitted another bill for work.
Oh, so
So
does he have some work outstanding, or is he just because we got that revised plan at the last hearing?
I
And
think we need an estimate from Paul for this second round of the restoration, because it's in the beginning, he reviewed the Goddard plans and that was paid, and then there was something else and that was paid. So I think we need another estimate from Paul for you all to approve.
Okay, good. So Vadran is up to date for invoices that have been issued
Yes.
to date. Okay. Okey-doke. And so why don't we'll talk about that next week and get something out to Paul. I think Deb submitted that plan, and the as-built plan will be we can ask her to throw some additional plants in there, but I think my discussion with them was we were just going to triple what was proposed. And maybe we can get I can get a letter from him saying that he agrees to that. Janet, you had questions about, let's see, next up would be plans to ensure adequate coverage.
Well, so on 29 Saddle Ridge, usually, so our original enforcement order said, there's been a violation, you need to submit a restoration plan. And then there's usually an amended enforcement order once we get the plan that says, there are additional requirements, and I included those in this meeting's report. There are 14 standard conditions. Now, this is kind of a unique situation where we're really kind of negotiating with the homeowner. So I don't know at this point if you want to consider an amended enforcement order, or should we wait to see if we get a revised plan?
Let's see. So this is with the notes that you have there, the 14 items there.
Yep.
Were those part of the original enforcement order, or are those additional?
Those would be additional. That would be in an amended enforcement order.
So this is in essence the typical verbiage that we use to to ensure that the plants are followed through and that 75% of them survive and so forth.
That's right.
I'm okay with,
So, so this
I'd
would
like
be in
to-
place of the
I'm-
NOI?
what's that?
This would be sort of in place of an NOI?
Yeah, it's been an enforcement order all along.
Right, no,
Um,
I know, but I mean, that's why we have to put these conditions in because there isn't an NOI.
mhm.
Yeah.
I would say-
So it
Yeah.
makes sense to me that we would issue a revised enforcement
Mhm.
order with all these conditions.
Okay, we'll tell you what, before we do that, we have, well, our option here is the first item there is the, comply with the final approved restoration plan provided by consultant Deb Anderson. Uh, uh, why don't we do that? I'll talk to Deb, see if we can get some more plants added onto that. It's either that or we just add in the verbiage here, we say with 3 times the, the proposed plants. I don't like that because that's too broad and includes additional trees, which I'm not sure we need versus ground cover. I'd like to table this for and be able to review this. There's not much. It's not that big of a deal at this point, and it will give me a chance to see what's out there for plant material. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate it. Okay, and then next there, Janet, in terms of office coverage.
Right, so Lori's last day is the 21st, and I certainly depend a lot on Lori being able to do my job and getting information through the office. So I'm just wondering what the plan is, given my very limited capacity to take on any more additional work at this point.
Mm-hmm. So I spoke to Robin in HR today, as I mentioned earlier in this meeting, that they're advertising for that. I asked her to look into what we would need to get a temp in for that period of time, for a hopefully short period of time, but we're looking, I would assume, at least a month. And I will be circling back to her to find out what's involved in doing that. And I made it clear that we absolutely need that. That it's not that we don't have people who can go in and do Lori's job. Lori's putting together some transition papers to aid with somebody who comes in to take that over. And I guess we'll try to, with your help and working with me, and if anyone else wants to step up, if we can parcel out some of this information, and we'll talk to the town regarding phone coverage as well. But right at the moment, we don't have a firm answer. We're waiting for it from the town.
Well, I don't know what email thread or whatever, but I do believe what Janet said is that this position should be full-time, not part-time.
Oh, yeah.
So interesting. I actually, so I put that in and I've requested that before. And we've had issues with, I've mentioned it to the town for a couple of years now. And they were going to have a consultant review us the way they did planning board and Board of Health. And they then pulled back on that. I made it clear, I actually thought they were going to advertise this as a full-time job.
It
And
should
then
be
I
a
was
full-time job.
and actually the powers that be agree. The issue is that it's not in this year's budget because it wasn't voted as such.
Oh, it's the
So
last, oh my God, okay.
yes.
Yep.
So, and I even pulled in, we did vote in, we got approved for, I think, $7,500 for additional minutes. And I asked it, can we use that as part of the budget for a full-time position for Lori? And was told no, but I'm not sure if we have the ability to, get any movement on that because so the answer as of this afternoon was It's something that they're perfectly willing to put on the agenda for the next town meeting, but that it's not what was voted on.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
And how
And
does it, I'm sorry, John, to interrupt you, but how does it work when we have a special, let's say, condition that we have to go to the selectmen? Can't we just say, this is what we're asking and this is what we need?
so I asked the same question, and the response I got was, number one, that's a consulting position, not a salaried position. Number two, what was the other response? Was I think they basically said C number one, but and so the question really is, and I really tried to impress upon them how necessary it was. And I think I'll continue to press on them and see if we can do something like that. If there's anything outside the box that allows us to do that. So what they have agreed is in their job posting or in their interviews, they will let it be known to any applicants that this has the potential to convert to a full-time position. In the next year. So that's as far as I've been able to get so far. So that's kind of a de facto acceptance that
Okay.
they'll go forward with that next year.
And not to drag this conversation out, but Lori, how did you become, like, was there an ad that you saw that you applied to? Like, I'm just curious, like, how you became our Dover conservation agent.
There was an ad and it was for part-time, and it's the hours that I'm working now. I did for a time increase my hours a little bit up to 30 hours, but it wasn't even making a dent. So I agree with you all
So,
that
no,
it should be full-time. I agree with you all.
but so did you see an ad through the Dovertown administration
You
saying,
know, I was on some different job hunting websites, and that's how I saw it, and I don't remember which one.
no, I mean, that's fine. I'm just curious.
That's how I found it. It wasn't like even a newspaper ad. It was something on a website. So I
Okay.
sent a letter and got the interview, and that's how
The rest is history.
the rest is history. So long ago.
So what HR told me, Robin said that it will go on Indeed, it will go on MACC. Lori's going to talk to her about some other locations. DEP.
Green job boards, maybe?
What was that?
Green job boards.
Oh, let's go. Okay, I hadn't heard that.
Massachusetts
That's
also
one I
has a
don't know.
conservation
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
So good. Then that's another thing we'll bring to Robin's attention.
Right.
Anything else you come up with, Zygers, would be helpful.
Is
we
this
don't do
something
this-
the personnel board could help with?
Do we have a personnel board?
We do. My dad is on it. That's why I mention it.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
And I
had
know
no
they
idea.
do a lot of like reworking of like they've reviewed a bunch of different positions in the town and sort of brought them up to like modern standards.
So that I'm
and that
glad
sort
you
of
Wow.
mentioned that, because
I've
in all
never
my
heard that.
discussion with HR, with town managers, so what, no one has ever mentioned a personnel board.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like certain types of jobs that they're in charge of reviewing or help with reviewing with, or if it's all jobs, but doesn't hurt to reach out to them.
No, do they meet on a regular basis, or how does
Probably, I feel like feel like my dad's having meetings with them all the time, but I can check.
one reach out to them? Visual is frozen in a wink. Oh, now there you go.
Robin
So,
goes
yeah,
to
could
those
you-
meetings, John.
What's that?
Yeah.
Robin goes to those meetings.
let's
HR, and
find out.
she
I
did
mean, if
tell
there's-
us a while back that
if this
if we wrote up a full-time job description, she'd take it to the personnel board, and then of course you have to get it funded, and so I think it's just part of the process.
Okay, so it's something that we'll have to do in order for next year, but I think we'll continue to press on seeing if there's a mechanism to get something done on a full-time basis this year. But it's not going to be immediate. So the main thing we need to do is get somebody in there to cover Lori's hours, whether it be a temp or whether it be an actual permanent employee as soon as possible. Janet?
I would also recommend it, Mass Municipal Association has a job resource board. So that would be another one to advertise on. And I've talked to someone, John, I'll be in touch with you. I know someone who's the administrative assistant for another town who works part-time, who might be willing to help us out.
Oh, great. I was thinking about that today. Expand that request to everyone if anybody knows of anybody, or get the word out that we are looking for that position. Is it 26 hours, Lori? And that means it comes with benefits. So it's just over the required hours for so if that becomes an important part to swing somebody's concept, that would be helpful. So please let your friends and family know. If they don't want that,
And John,
we can do with another commissioner. So
I'll talk to you. I'm just concerned, we have regulatory deadlines. And if we don't meet them, then we can be penalized. So I'm just I'm just really concerned that they're.
No, I think on what we have for NOIs and things of that sort right at the moment, we happen to be fortunately light compared to our general run rate. So I think right at the moment we don't have anything outstanding there relative to outside of these items here that are relatively simple. But Janet, you and I and Lori and I can make sure that we get through what we have, and then we'll impress that upon the town, especially for temp help on that, and we can discuss, Janet, whether what we can do among ourselves for any sort of coverage or paperwork. But I think that's going to be pretty daunting, given that Lori's really good at what she does. So
Yeah, and I don't know if you could get. I mean, you can get a temp, within 24 hours. With these
yeah,
temp
but can we get a
agencies.
temp who knows what she needs to do? I don't
Well,
know.
if we could get someone early next week who had a week of overlap with Lori, and she could go through the legal ads, how you process payments, that type of thing. Because if we don't get the legal ads in time, we can't open the hearing, and then they could be issued a permit by default. So just, there's a lot of moving parts to think about, so.
So fingers crossed we don't get a 40B application in the next few. But the Lori, are you working all days next week?
I'm working 4 days next week, and I understand the idea with if you can get somebody in, I can show them what to do, but I also still have all the items from the meeting of the 25th to get out, and then the items from this meeting to get out, and I feel like that's pretty much gonna take up between getting those done, getting the signatures, getting them out. It's gonna take up a lot of time next week, so
Okay.
just putting
And
that out there.
does anyone have any experience with having the town hire temps before?
I have it in Wellesley. We hired, a lot of departments hire temps. Yeah. Doing administrative work.
Then that may be something. Well, why don't we talk, Jen, why don't we talk tomorrow sometime, midday? And I can try to, I'll ask Robin about that, if they've been using a particular agency or anything like that.
Okay.
Normally they just seem to hire people who previously worked for us and on a consulting basis, but that's not going to happen. So unless we can find Julie. Did Julie move to California, Tim?
Julie moved to Wyoming.
I was gonna say, yes, much farther than California.
So
much more remote than California.
Right. So anyway, I share your concern, Janet. I just don't have enough information to make any statement on it. We'll just have to continue to push on that and see what we, if we can get something there. Let's see, land management, was there anything else, Janet, relative to that?
Nope.
Okay. Anna, why don't you give us our land management update?
I don't think we have major updates since our meeting 2 weeks ago. We've been sort of summering and people have been on vacation, but we're planning on getting organized to start building bridges pretty soon, so we'll take it from there.
Well, it's funny. I had Jay Crocker at my house yesterday, and he's
Oh, good.
looking forward to anything he could do. We talked about, he raised the cedar trees.
Right,
that
I've
are-
got the cedar sitting in my field waiting for Jay to
Oh.
come and take it, remember?
Oh yeah, no, he mentioned
Awesome.
that, so he's looking forward to that as well. So once you're ready, let him know, and then we'll chat
It's
with-
been ready for, it's
Oh no,
dead.
I was thinking about Anna, because I'm not sure
Oh.
where. So
Oh, okay.
is it down, or is it just sitting
No,
there?
it's just standing there dead.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think at
Not
this
gonna
point,
be
so
standing
Jay,
there too many more years, but with the
so
storage we've been having.
Jay knows that it exists. I think he'll just
Okay.
need guidance from Anna on.
I think it's fine. We can get organized. I mean, he's got to take it down and mill it, and then we need to
Right.
pick it up. So we can go anytime.
Right, but wouldn't you want at least get some pricing from him to figure it out?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah,
And,
that's a good idea.
So, although
Okay,
he's
I'll
been-
contact him.
Great. Let's just see. Let's see. Next up is we have the agents report.
Right, so first up is our perennial enforcement order situation at 31 Springdale. And I'm wondering, Lori, before you go, has Will Mitchell paid all outstanding third-party review bills of Paul's? Do you know?
No. Will
Okay.
has had an outstanding bill since January. I've emailed it and mailed it to him a number
how
of
much-
times.
what-
The
how much
last
is
time I
that?
did. I'm sorry.
How much is that ballpark?
826.80, and it was billed January 23rd. And he
Okay.
definitely knows about him. I've sent him multiple copies. The last email, he said, I'll be in next week with a check. And he never came in. I followed up with, are you coming in with a check? Because, Ecotech has not been paid for that, so.
This
And if
one's kind of starting to really bother me, because at this point it's been months and years, I think, with
Years,
31.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years with 31 Springdale, and they've got a beautiful layout that's definitely in violation. And at this point, it feels like we are penalizing folks who come to us and deal with their enforcement orders rather than people who just kind of ignore us. I don't know that there's a good answer here, but I do think he's kind of hacked our system by just kind of replying and never showing up.
So Lori, last you heard he had finally found an engineer. Is that correct?
He said he had found an engineer and he expected to have plans. He expected to meet with him the next day. He expected to have plans, shortly.
So
I don't have all the emails in front of me, but he definitely has known about this outstanding
bill.
invoice. And I haven't gotten another bill from Paul, but I assume there's probably been work since the original invoice.
Do
So
we have, go ahead.
Where we
Actually,
are
Kim,
with this, we don't need an engineer. What we need is, he submitted a wetland restoration plan, I believe submitted by Goddard. And then Paul went out and reviewed that and submitted a list of like 10 items that needed revision. And so we were like 70% there. And then
So do you recall
stopped.
were they minor? Well, actually they run, so he has a trench that he put he put a culvert in and he buried. Number one, I would say that's
big.
that's potentially approvable if he had approached us. But the wetlands in question relative to that trench were top of bank, if that. But we've never had a chance to address that.
And then there
do you know
was
other,
considerable.
do you know
fill.
other, do you know other things, Janet, that,
Yes, yes, I've been on the site several times. So on both sides of the property, there's the
Mhm.
depression, the little pond. He filled in some of the bank area with wood
Oh,
chips. And then on the
okay.
opposite side, which abuts DLCT land, he also filled. He actually regraded and filled.
And
Paul went
and he's
out and
encroaching, and he has not contacted us to. We've had one
Mm.
email, he responded to the ranger email and then has done nothing to
Mhm.
respond anymore or rectify his encroachment. And
So I was on site, and that's the reason we needed an engineer, was because that encroachment appears to be a historical encroachment.
I don't care how long.
No, no,
I don't know
no.
whether it
This,
was him or the person before.
yeah, it was,
The
yeah, it's,
encroachment has to
mhm.
stop.
Well,
And
he
they have
has,
to,
as far as I can tell, it has stopped. I think DLCT has to figure out, and the whole idea was to figure out where the lot line was, whether it behooves you to remove some of the stuff that was there, which were gardens
it's
and things
not
of
up
that
to
sort.
us to remove that stuff, John. It's up to the homeowner who's encroaching.
No, if the homeowner could just there, I don't know if it's registered land, he could go for he could go for adverse possession. That's a thing
You
between
can't have adverse possession to a land
recorded.
trust.
Is it I that I don't know. I know on recorded land
I do
you
know that
okay.
because we
So
have another
but in,
encroachment
you know
that's been,
my point there is for DLCT, that's outside our jurisdiction. Is that some of that is within the
so
conservation land.
we
I my
asked,
ma-
we
my main thing
asked
is,
to,
how do you get his attention? I would send a letter threatening something from DLCT on that. You haven't gotten a decent response. What I'm recommending here is that
okay,
we
go
heard
ahead.
a thing about the engineer, which is helpful, is that basically let it be known to him that at our next meeting, we will start to assess fines. And and we'll take a look at them. The fines will be it'll certainly be more than one incident per day basis. There are a number of infractions there, and just they'll start to mount. I want to talk to town council about the viability of that, which I think he's been in violation for such a long time. Janet, I'd like to find out, what you've in terms of prioritizing, what are the things that are most egregious on the things that we have there, so that we can prioritize them in that order. And you have your hand up?
yeah, so, we can send all the letters we want, and I think we've threatened fines. We have a pretty light agenda. We have a new order of condition amendment request, and that's it for the next meeting. I recommend we send him a letter requiring him to attend our meeting for an update and a discussion.
Okay.
And so we have that on record.
Okay.
Can we also include discussion of assessing fines, because I don't want us to him not to show and then us keep kicking it.
Yeah, I'm fine with having that on the next agenda. So it will
Sounds good.
yeah, and under his name, not as assessing fines in general, but we want him in front of us, and that part of our discussion will be assessing the assessment of fines. The other question is, do we have any wording in our invoices, or does Ecotech that charges a late fee? It's 1.5% per month or anything like that on things. I think it's something that if we don't, we should look at entering something like that in the future. So why don't we do that, Lori? And I appreciate it if you could squeeze that in for this week, sometime next week.
And I'd suggest maybe by email versus a letter. That might take.
I think I'd hit him with everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind even hand delivering something. So
Gotten better responses with email. In general, I always send an email. Even if you say send a letter, I send the letter, but I also send it by email, because that's when he replies, not to the letters, to the emails. And you have a record because you have it in your sent email. So
Right.
I don't see that Paul has ever, in all the time I've been here, that Ecotech has ever charged for
A late fee. Okay,
past
well,
due.
so the question, and that's technically between his company and and them, but I
Yeah,
wonder if we have the ability to do some, no, fining would cover that.
yeah,
I will find out when town council is next, or I'll just see if I can get in touch with town council and find that out, because I think this is really, at this point, we've been able to work with people and avoid fines, and this is just going on.
So
And
are we saying, Lori, just let me, I mean, clarification, we have never sent Will a fine.
No, we never imposed a fine. No.
We,
So we've never
we
imposed a
sent
fine.
him letters that say that we're gonna fine him.
Right, so that's what I mean, like, so that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to, for clarification, so we've
Yeah.
sent warning letters, but we've never actually fined anyone.
right.
And-
Can't
and
remember,
it's-
we probably haven't fined somebody since Tim, was it back on Farm Street, 68 Farm or something, or what was that
Yeah,
DEP fine?
67 Farm Street, I think.
67.
68.
68.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, 'cause
Um,
we're-
Left side of the
It's
street.
on the
Yeah.
even side.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, okay,
Uh, yes, we imposed the fines, but then when the state got involved, it got really much more complicated, and they took all of that, and we never actually collected any fines.
but we threatened them, but we never
No,
did.
no, we
Right.
actually imposed the fines, but we never executed them.
Okay,
So what I need to get clarification, I believe, once we impose fines, then we may need to perfect them in some way via a court. And that's what I'll clarify.
and that's where,
I wish I remembered the process.
and that's kind of where I was going to with, for John, like, if we impose a fine for Will, we need to be consistent going forward of all the fines.
Well, it's still something we would prefer to work with people, but
Of
not
course
for,
we- of
you know,
course,
not
no.
for a year. And
You don't want to, I am not for fines for anyone, but this is a blatant, kid who just doesn't want to, he's kind of pushing the limit.
well, I think part of this is he needs to be focused. That's the thing, he forgets about us, and we need to prevent that from happening. And that's taking it to the
nicely
next
put.
step.
That's very nice.
So, okay, so I will try to contact town council to get a clearer idea of what we need to do there. See if I can get it from in writing from them. Let's see, Janet, where Red Robin?
Yeah, my recollection, by the way, is that you the sheriff is the one who actually does something with the fines.
The sheriff will give notice and so forth, but the sheriff
Yes.
actually can't. They're only enforcing something that comes from a certain.
Right, but there's no collection process.
There's no what?
I don't know what I don't know what the collection process is,
The election?
collection.
That's it.
Oh, collection.
So-
Oh, no, well, the sheriff basically is the collector.
I think that's right.
Okay, but generally they bring notice of that collection, and if it ever got to the point where something was done up against the house and there was a foreclosure auction, which that would take a while to get there, and is unlikely. But if that's, then the sheriff would actually lead the auction. There'd be an auctioneer involved, and the
Mhm.
sheriff would be there, and so forth. Before you could get anywhere near that, you need a court order that says that that is fair and just and should be enforced. And that's what I need town council to tell us what's involved. And then it's a matter of town selectmen telling us whether or not they want to spend the legal fees on something like that. But such legal fees also, inure to the
Yes.
to the homeowner.
Yes.
So, so we'll get a clarification on that because, we want to do it the correct way. So. So Red Robin?
So Red Robin, that project is mostly complete. We wanted to have Tetra Tech, who was our third party on the stormwater, review the as-built on stormwater. There has been some communication back and forth, but Lori had sent an email back in June that the escrow budget is at 0 and there are 2 outstanding Tetra Tech invoices. So they're not going to do any more work for us. Tetra Tech isn't until they get paid. So that really, that's a loose end that we really need to take care of.
So do we know, are all the occupancy permits granted on Red Robin?
Yes.
And do we know, just for future discussion, I don't know if there's any cross pollination there. Do we have an ability, if we haven't been paid, to have the building department hold up occupancy permits?
No, I don't believe so. No.
Okay, that'll be another question for town council. Okay, and any proposals, Janet, to get their attention better?
I don't know, Lori, have you sent a recent letter to Paul McGovern with a stating that you need to pay these 2 invoices? And then I would say we need at least, the order of condition indicates that they were supposed to put 5,000 in escrow to us. I don't know if that was ever done.
They put more than 5,000. They had 5,000, then they had another amount that was just for stormwater. But Tetra Tech used up the money, and I think they went over a little bit, maybe at the end, and I sent both of these to Paul as soon as I got them with an email with the invoice, and I haven't had any response. And Paul historically has been very good about running over with checks, but I think his feeling was that he had already gone over the 5,000 that was part of the bylaws back then when he started the project. That 5,000 limit was in there. It's no longer in there, but I think he did 5, then he did 65. And I'm not sure if there was more after that. I would have to pull all of the, all the files for Red Robin, but I have the 2 invoices in front of me, and I was surprised to get these from Tetra Tech. I thought they were all paid off. One for $531, and then the other one is for $1,180, and just no response. This was June 4th and June 18th. I sent these out to Paul McGovern. So
I have I've added that to the town council because that jogged my memory that Paul McGovern had pushed back at that at one point, that our bylaws originally spelled out a $5,000 limit,
right.
back when we were still on the gold standard, apparently. And and so there was a question in terms of that pushback, and I'll talk to town council and see if how viable that is.
And just for clarity here, we had a certain amount for Tetra Tech's review of the notice of intent, but that was separate. So when we issued the order of condition, there was a special condition that said post-project, we also wanted a third-party escrow account for the COC review and sign off. So those are separate.
I think it's a good point, but I don't know how if there's some intersection there with that particular bylaw clause. I think that's a really good point. And from what I recall, the bylaw for the 5,000 was for review of the submission, but now we're looking for a review of the COC. I think that's a valid point.
Tetra Tech never submitted any kind of estimate for the review of COC either. The beginning was the review, the first review, and then the second check was strictly stormwater. And that is all I had, was those 2 proposals from them. They didn't submit anything for COC. So
Okay,
I mean, they weren't talking to me, so I don't know what the agreement was,
Right.
you know. So I just got the bills in out of the blue, and I was kind of surprised because I said the money is all gone.
And so
So
what's the balance outstanding currently?
I'm sorry.
What's the balance outstanding currently?
So one is 1180 and the other one is 500 something, and that is, I believe that's without the work for the COC.
So I'd recommend maybe we ask Paul to attend our next meeting again, since it's fairly light. But there are just so many loose ends here. I think it might be worth having him in, especially since he hasn't been responding to the letters.
Mhm.
And I don't know, Lori, if you have a summary maybe of where we are with this, so we're all on the same page, in terms of what has been spent and what's outstanding.
Well, I have files on them, but honest and truly, I don't see me being able to put together a summary letter. I'm limited to like 4.5 days left that I'm, well, 5.5, sorry, I'm in there tomorrow. So I'm kind of limited on what I can promise to do, but the files are there.
Right.
Somebody wants to take the files, and I invited Paul in to take a look at all the files. I have the records. I don't know.
So this amount, the Tetra Tech stuff is separate from Paul's invoicing as well for review?
Yes. Yeah, Paul McManus was separate.
And is Paul paid up to date on that?
Paul McManus was paid up to date from Red Robin. Because
Okay.
his wasn't ongoing like Tetra Tech's was.
Well, it's a curious because I was always confused a little bit because Tetra Tech was was on board originally under the town engineer and the whole 40B review process. And so I'm not sure at what point did it formally change over to us, or is that part of the engineering component, or is there
No,
or
it
is there
was
separate?
separate. Yeah, it was separate because under the WPA and the stormwater standards, those are different standards.
Mhm.
So that was part of our permitting process.
Well, but isn't storm, the stormwater standards, isn't that part of the town engineer's job?
Not on something this scale. No.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it more than 5 acres? I mean,
Uh,
it's certainly more than 40,000 square feet, but I thought,
yeah, the town engineer really just looks at basic engineering, and stormwater standards, does not look at the wetlands requirements
okay.
for stormwater.
No, I just
But
remember
it
that
is,
Tetra Tech was pulled in before we were really involved. They were
by the ZBA, that's right. They were
yeah.
doing the stormwater review under the ZBA. Yeah.
Okay, and then you're saying at some point it shifted over to exclusively us. The ZBA was out of the picture?
Yes, they issued their decision and then they
Mhm.
came to us for the NOI. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it is,
we'll have to review those files there. Our main thing coming up relative to COCs, I would prioritize on a slightly lower thing in terms of level, compared to making sure that we take care of any new filings and get out any decisions that we've already done. And so we'll just have to prioritize, and if that gets moved out a few extra weeks, it's not the end of the world for things.
yeah, but it is, the other piece was Paul was reviewing in particular the wetland issues, not the stormwater. So we actually had two third-party reviewers on that. And
Okay.
he also was gonna look at the COC piece. But I don't know that, like, I wasn't coordinating that, and I don't know who was handling that, so it's got,
Okay. So it's all, and so do you have two separate files on that, Lori? One for Tetra Tech, or you must have maybe three, one for Red Robin, one for Tetra Tech, and one for Paul?
There's at least two for Tetra Tech because there were two separate
Mm-hmm.
checks that were submitted. One was for the first review, the second one was for stormwater. Like I said, nothing was ever submitted for the COC. And honestly, they used to send the invoices to Janet.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would find their way to me somehow, sometimes through town
So
clerk.
were they sent to a town mailbox for Janet or to Janet's home?
I don't know if they emailed them, but honestly, I wasn't really involved with them at all. I just got invoices and paid them. So,
Okay.
you know, I don't know.
Okay, why don't we, if you leave those files out, but that's one of the things we'll touch base on in terms of where files will be located for things that are outstanding that, you know.
Oh,
before
yeah,
we-
I have all, they're all in files. I can show you when you come in the office.
Okay,
And,
thanks.
and John, I can help you with that too during the day
Great,
if you want.
cool,
some help.
thank you.
So,
Okay, let's move on to 8 Pagan Lane.
Yep, we already addressed that one.
We did that, yeah.
Next is the high school track and field project. They're replacing the turf field, putting in a new track. We were concerned, there are 2 drainage outfalls near the wetlands. We were concerned about erosion control. They did install erosion control. I was out there to inspect it, so everything looks good. But I will go out, I'm gonna try to go out every other week and just take a look,
Okay.
make sure we don't have any erosion or sedimentation out there.
Mhm.
15 Farm Street, at the last meeting, there was some concern on the driveway with some erosion. It looks, I was just out there a couple days ago, and it looks like the silt fence is now very well installed. And so I see no evidence of erosion there. I think the erosion
Mhm.
control has been replaced and is good. 139 Center Street, I'm still trying to schedule a site meeting with the wetland consultant out there. There were concerns about perhaps tree removal near wetlands, so I will follow up on that. I'm not sure where we are on the electronic signature procedure, but that's not a priority. So an enforcement situation has come up. I got an email yesterday from Lori about a complaint about some tree removal at 12 Fox Run. That's in Tim's neighborhood. I did go out there today. No one was home and there were 2 dogs barking. So I did not do a in-depth site visit out of fear for my life. I would suggest that there definitely is some work in the back. There are also some wetlands in the back. But it's hard to tell how close they are to the wetlands. So I
Mhm.
think our normal procedure is to send them a letter. We've have information. You may be doing some work in a buffer and invite them, ask them to attend our next meeting.
Okay. What's the address on that again?
12 Fox Run.
Didn't that sell kind of recently? Like not this year, but 2 years ago?
I looked at the property card. Yeah, it's a couple, I think it was in 23. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fairly new house as well, but Lori checked the files, there was no order of conditions, so the house wasn't near wetlands, I presume.
and
But
Anna
they
says
were
that-
doing
that's
work
her-
towards the back.
That's Anna's neighborhood, so she'll do some reconnaissance.
Yeah, it's down the street for me too.
Yeah, Tim is technically closer, but
Yeah, I am
Yeah, it
closer, yeah.
looks like a,
That's not the one on the corner of Morningside.
the
is it?
Holmes's old
Right.
house? No. Oh no,
What-
no, that's
What number is it again?
it's 12.
The
Oh.
Was that a Calumet
new
or
house,
a,
there's a new house going on in the corner there.
yeah,
It's
was that a,
gigantic. It's
was that a,
ridiculous.
was that a Calumet or Rafter house? It looks
I-
like one of the.
I think
design-
so. I think 12 was the one on the
I-
corner of Morningside and Fox Run is different. I think it's David Parish.
Yeah,
It
that's right.
Yeah,
looks
it's-
to me
it-
like a conference center at the moment, but I'm sure it'll get there.
Well, that actually, what it looks like to me is like one of these places where it was a farmhouse and they added and added and added, like they're trying to make it look like it was done over centuries, not,
Oh, that's
A month?
typical of his design.
yeah.
He did that on up on Center Street by like across from 164 there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of
Yes.
look it is, it's done.
So, okay, then, yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we get a letter out to them?
Lori, can
And,
you, is that something you can do out of the office? Usually that comes out of the office.
I'm gonna try to do all these letters. Like I
Okay.
said, I think I should start first with the permits that are due, you know,
And-
I agree.
timely
and
fashion.
that's what- Then Lori, just leave it on your to-do list for the next person to take over.
Okay. I will try to do the letters. They might be emails. It's just easier that way. And we can-
Yeah, there would just have to, we'll have to find an email. No.
I'm sorry.
We don't know who it is, so we'll have to find an email
Uh,
on 12 Fox Run.
true. That's true.
The
Yeah. That one might have to be a letter.
Matthew Cully, Culley.
That's
Anybody
who-
know him?
That's who lives at Fox.
That's who Mass Mapper says lives there.
I check with the
Um,
assessors usually to get the current owner.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's probably
it
right.
supposedly sold in 23, so I
Hmm.
bet it's still him.
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah, that one might have to be a real letter, so I'll do my best.
Yeah, I
That
don't-
sold in September of 23.
Yeah.
So there's a question as to whether it's actually, it's showing up in the assessor's office or not, so.
Oh, 23, it would. It's things that sold in 25, it might have the wrong.
So,
And
okay,
And then I also wanted to follow up on 90 Claybrook Road. That was an enforcement situation that will need restoration. We hired Paul to do the third-party review on that. And I'm just wondering, Lori, did we get the money into escrow for Paul's third-party review on that?
Yes, Paul's estimate was approved. Tracy dropped off the check. The accountant set up the new account. The money's gone in there. I don't have a bill from Paul yet on his review, so she doesn't have a bill outstanding or anything, but
Okay.
And how much was the escrow for? How much did she put in?
oh,
25.
I was gonna say 25. That's what I was gonna say, 25.
I'm not sure. I thought it was closer to 3, but
Okay,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. At least there's,
it was whatever the maximum was on Paul's estimate.
okay.
And then the last, our flea beetles are going to be delivered on July 17th. So Bill and I are going to go out and release those maybe on the 17th or the 18th. I'll let everyone know if you want to join us. We're just going to have boxes of beetles. We're going to walk around the field, scattering them, and then we're also going to go over to Valley Farm and do the same.
I'm
Okay.
like so excited about this. So let me know when it happens.
Okay, so, champagne, sparkling wine,
Any thoughts?
okey-doke. Any other, issues anybody wants to bring to our attention? Well, Sarah, thanks for keeping me on track. I think this is, maybe it's because I is here that we, we've hit 9:15. I think this is our earliest for quite some time.
Yes.
So, thank you.
But
And,
I do want to say, Lori, we will miss you. You've been
Oh.
amazing.
Yes.
You really have been amazing. And
you.
you've got the person who's going to be filling your shoes is going to be, it's going to be big shoes to fill. I guess.
You're going to be a tough act to follow.
or
Thank
to,
you.
or to
Uh,
succeed.
Right.
So,
No, I appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
okey-doke. Well, thank you very much, everyone, and especially Lori. And hearing no objections, tonight's meeting is adjourned. Okay,
Good night, all.
Night.
night,
Night.
enjoy.